whatever you wanna be. So I told myself, I'ma be a singer, I'ma play on the keys. I can do whatever I want if I just believe, yeah.
YouTube, what's the deal, man? It's your boy Mark on the charts, back at it again, man. And I just posted a video yesterday, right? Go ahead and check that video out if you haven't checked it out. I made $1,000 yesterday trading EUR/USD, right? And I just wanted to bounce back today. Placed 2 trades on NZDUSD, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of why I placed the trades. Here are my profits for the week. As you can see, both of those NZD trades, I actually lost one this morning, right? And then we bounced back with a win. I will go over both of them. They were both great opportunities. They both followed my edge. So let's just get into it. So the first thing that you need, right, is a demand zone, right? You understand, if you watch my last video, I trade liquidity, supply, and demand, and there is very strict variables when it comes to this strategy, right? So first things first, you need a demand zone. And if you zoom in, guys, this is a bearish candlestick, which validates this zone. We get a bearish move, right? It's a doji, so it's hard to see, right? But we get a bearish move, and then we get an explosion, which validates the demand zone. Now, let's say we were to just come back and tap into the zone, right? That is invalid for our strategy, right? We are not just taking supply and demand trades. We need liquidity to build up above the zone, right? When we're trading off demands, and opposite for supplies, right? We need liquidity to build up below our supply zones on the sells. But this is a buy opportunity, so we need liquidity to build up right above the zone, which is exactly what happened, right? So if I go ahead and draw this out, right, we do not touch this zone. We have orders, right? Not only sitting in, we have pending orders sitting in the zone, right? But we have liquidity right under here because buyers are getting in, so their stop losses are below their buys, obviously. Now, the next thing that we need to look for to validate this trade is we need the liquidity to create a higher high, right? So as you can see, right, let's say, let me grab this tool over here. Let's say, right, this liquidity would have came right here and then dropped into the zone. This zone is invalid, right? We need to create a higher high with the move for it to be valid. So we have a push, create the demand zone, right? Then we get liquidity right here, and we need these candlesticks to break this high, which we do, right? Which validates this zone. So now all we're looking for is a tap into our zone and a bullish candlestick. We enter off the first bullish candlestick, right? So let's go ahead and play this out. I will show you guys when I got in. Boom, right? So this is where I got into the trade. As you can see, we immediately lost the trade. But that's okay. Let's just go back. I'll show you guys where I entered, right? So I entered this trade right here, stop loss under here, and I was aiming for the recent highs. Good risk and reward, 1 for 2.3. And as you can see, boom, we hit stop loss pretty quick, right? So we did end up going, straight in profit after that, but you will see the next candlestick was freaking insane, and this is just something that you cannot predict, right? So understand this is why you need to place a stop loss every single trade, right? Because without a stop loss, I mean, this is a 5-minute candlestick. This is something that you just cannot see coming, and this would have wiped out weeks, if not months, of discipline, right, with a decent lot size. So with that being said, this is where I lost this morning, lost about $375 altogether in this trade, which is okay, right? Losses happen. Losses are business expenses in trading, right? So understand, if you're a business owner, you already know, right? Every time you make money, that's not all of your money, right? I made $1,000 yesterday, and within that 1,000, there's losses baked in, right? So when you make profit in a business, you have employees to pay, right? You have products to restock. In trading, right, your losses are your business expenses, and understand it is baked in the edge. There is no 100% strategy. If anybody is selling you that, just know they're absolutely lying, right? And they could go suck. Sorry, no, I'm saying. But let's move on to the next trade, right? Because we have a great trade setup that came right after that. So first things first, what I was looking at this zone, the fact that we had so much volume to this zone just let me know that we're going to come and sweep this liquidity that was created over here. So what do we need for a zone to be valid, right? First, we need a demand zone, right? So this is a demand zone, right? And the reason I really have this zone drawn out is because we have a major gap right here. So if you see, there's a gap right here in the market where there is no candlesticks, and what market makers like to do is they like to fill these gaps, right? So not only is this a demand, right, but there's a huge gap right here. Now, secondly, what do we need? We need liquidity to be created above the zone. So let me go ahead and grab this dollar sign. I'll put this right here. Understand, buyers got in the market, meaning their stop losses is under their zone, right? So there's liquidity, right? Also, we create some more liquidity in the same spot, right? So we come down this morning, right? Buyers come in off the zone. I'll show you. Boom, right? So they're buying off of this zone right here, right? So we create more liquidity. When I seen this trade coming back to my zone, I knew it was going to be a very quick turnaround. I knew we were going to have a lot of volume once we hit this zone because, like I said, there's a gap in the market. We have liquidity sitting right there. This is a demand zone. Like, there's just a bunch going on. If you go to the 4-hour time frame as well, you'll see that we are creating higher highs and higher lows. Like, it was just an amazing setup. And so I told my community, and I'll go ahead and post it right here, I told them to get in aggressive, right? So there's two different ways to enter a trade with liquidity, supply, and demand. One is you need a candlestick to print off your zone. That's how I got in right here, right? And when you just feel that there's going to be a lot of volume coming in off of zone, sometimes you just want to get in aggressive because you might miss out on a good opportunity. You might miss out on a good entry. Now, I will say, if you do wait on the candlestick to print off the zone, you will avoid a lot of losses, right? So let's let that be clear. That is probably the best method to use. But for me, I've been in the market for 5 years. I've seen things like this happen over and over and over again. And I just I didn't know, because you don't know anything, but I had a feeling, right, that this market was going to take off. And you will see that's exactly what we did after we hit this zone, right? So we took off, and I'll just go ahead and let it play from there, right? This thing was a beauty. Ended up making about $648 on this trade, which put me back in profit for the day, right? Up about $1,200 for the week, and it is only Wednesday. Still have 2 more trading days. Yeah, man, this was just a great day in the market. It'll go to show that, at the end of the day, man, it doesn't matter if you lose your first trade of the day, first trade of the week. It doesn't matter if you even have a losing week in trading, right? Your next week you can go undefeated and make all of that back and then some, and that is the name of the game in trading, man. Do not let a loss start reinforcing trading errors. Do not let a loss take you out of your psychology, man, because at the end of the day, 99% of this is mental, right? The only physical thing about trading is clicking buttons, right? So if this was a physical game, right, everybody would be rich because we're clicking buttons. It's 99% psychology, risk management, and handling your emotions at the end of the day. So with that being said, right, I will see you guys on the next video. Just wanted to give you guys a quick overview. I think I did leave this out real quick too. So understand, in this trade, right, what made it valid was the liquidity created a higher high, right? So just understand, when we came back into this zone, let's say this liquidity right here would have came right here and then tapped into the zone. Like, if we would have got something like this off the liquidity and then tapped into the zone, that would be invalid because the liquidity has to create a higher high, and that's what happened right here. So understand, that is an important variable if you want to get trades that are just absolutely taking off like this. I mean, go watch my last video. I posted it yesterday. These are my last trades. I took this one yesterday, made $1,000. Took this, actually didn't take this one. This one was just an example. I took this trade, absolutely took off, right? And then another trade I took was down here. It's the same concept, liquidity, supply and demand, and we are just blasting off. Now, if you want to have trades that look like this, right, you have to have all of these variables aligned. And understand, right, when it comes to supply, right, let's just go ahead and give you guys a supply example, right? Let's say we have a supply zone created. Boom. So let's go ahead and draw this out and show you guys. Boom, let's say a supply is created right here. What do we need for this zone to be valid, right? We need liquidity to build up right below the zone, right? And the liquidity has to create a lower low, right? So if we just come here and then we come here, it's invalid, right? We need the zone to create a lower low, and then we have to come, and then we have to come sweep these lows, and then we take the trade off of the candlestick printing bearish, stop loss above, or you can enter aggressive, stop loss above this zone, right? This is what it would look like on the inverse, because we've been getting a lot of demand setups, and I haven't really been able to show you guys the supply setup, but this is what it would look like inverse. So I hope this is making sense for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're getting some sauce, please comment, please like. That is going to help me boost my channel and help bring more people to a non-fluff, no bullshit channel in trading, right? I am showing you guys my results. If you don't believe me, go on Instagram. You will see me post my trades before I even place them, right? So sometimes, and I won't continue to always do this, right? I'm doing this because I'm trying to grow the community right now. But eventually I will just be sending my trades off to my group. But yeah, man, go ahead and follow me on IG, Mark_Gross, and I will see you guys on the next video, man. Y'all have a great night.